Hey, everybody, welcome on in. It's time for ClayShare's Live at 5. This is our weekly live broadcast we bring to you here. And we have a special guest tonight. We have Debbie from DelaDesignGifts.com. If you have not checked out her website yet, please go do so. And while you're there, you check out ClayShare.com, right? But Debbie makes these amazing cutters, and many of you are familiar with her products. She also makes some stamps and rollers that are wonderful as well. I've got a couple set we collabed on, and this is the class I'll be doing at 6:15 p.m. That's the paint palettes. Look at this one right here. Oh, no, it's made with the more traditional cutter, so there's two sizes. And then this one, which is the vintage frame, which is like a square right here. But Debbie has something even better, or just as good, I should say, planned for you. Now, she's got a hand building tutorial tonight, and she's going to teach you how to make a flower petal candle holder. And I'm pretty excited to see how she does this and all of the fabulous techniques she's going to share with you. Now, we also have a giveaway tonight. So if you have not signed up for the email list on ClayShare, what are you waiting for? That's how you get entered in our giveaways. Just go to ClayShare.com and sign up for emails. Now, premium members, remember you are automagically entered always in our giveaways, and there is no purchase necessary. You do not have to watch to win. We will notify the winners by email. So be sure to sign up for our emails so you can be entered not only in a giveaway like we're having tonight, but upcoming giveaways. All right, we're going to head on out and see how Debbie's doing. I know it's hot out there, but she is gonna push away that heat and work on these fabulous candle holders. Hey, Debbie, how you doing?
Hi, Jessica. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. We're gonna make some, I'm calling them a candle holder. I think they would also make a nice, a candy dish. I could see, filling it up with M&Ms, or, I think it's a nice centerpiece for your table, and they're super simple to make, and they don't require a lot of supplies, so you could kind of do this anywhere. I'm also going to do a little bit of show and tell first, if everyone doesn't mind. I've had quite a few new products coming out, so in addition to Jessica's palette designs, I've done a new set of stacking bowls, and there's 4 here. And they nest together, I guess not stacking, they're nesting. And this is a new template that I released a couple weeks ago. It is a big template, so it's a lot of clay. Debated about, demoing that tonight, but it's a lot of clay and it's really hot here. So, these are the small one. So these are all on my website.
I love how deep they are.
Yeah, I went a little deeper with it, just something a little different. And then the bigger bowl here. So, and these just came out of the kiln a couple days ago. I had a little bit of running on this one, but the others did good. And they're stamped with, or this one had a roller design and some stamping. This is a new stamp here, a ginkgo. So there's those. They're on my website. Everything right now on my website is an automatic 15% off, and that's good for, I think, until next Monday, the 26th, I believe. So let me set these aside. And then I just released these today. We're doing numbers finally. This has been on my list to do forever. So I've got 4 different sizes, a 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, and 6-inch. And of course, there's the whole set. I just didn't grab all of those. And I made the cutest number signs for my new house that we're working on right now. And I made these last night. So these are big. This is the big one. And I'm going to kind of just attach them in a row. You could also, and I'll have this listed later. So I did them individually. But you could also use like a different one and put, your numbers this way. And I think there's other things you could do with it. Maybe make numbers for a birthday cake or, something like that. I think these would be really great if you do markets. You could do the individual letters, and you could do the smaller sizes if you didn't want to go this big. but you could make the numbers and then people can mix and match. So they'd be able to come and say, well, I need 3089, and they could go through and pick out what they want. So I think that would make it, work really well for selling at a market or a craft show, that they just get to go through and pick out what numbers they need. Let me set those aside.
Now, Debbie, we had some folks love show and tell, and they're excited to see the new products. How tall are those bowls? That was a question that came in.
Question.
And for everybody, if you go to Debbie's website, you can find out all the information about these products. The descriptions are listed, what comes when they come in sets and everything. It's all listed right there, DayLaDesignGifts.com.
After firing, they're about 3.5 inches.
About 3.5 inches.
Yeah, and that's going to depend on your clay a lot. And then like this one's it's a little under, it's about 8.5 now after firing, the biggest one. The smallest is about 4.5. And
those are good size.
These, I believe, Jessica, that I did a demo of my regular bowl size that I had before. I think I demoed that for you maybe during an Easter one a couple of years ago.
Yes, so I remember. So
it's made the exact same way. It's just different sizes and bigger sizes. And all of these will work. And I think I did that in your demo. The GR pottery forms I used as the dinner round plate, kind of as a rounder at the top. So each of these, they're 1.5 inches apart. So each of these, when you're building them, the top will fit that GR pottery form. So you can use it to kind of keep it round. That's how I get a little bit of warping after firing, but for the most part, for a hand-built bowl, they're fairly round. They didn't warp a whole lot.
They look great.
Thank you. So here's that new ginkgo stamp. And I've got it in different sizes. So I just went through. And this is actually using the Kathy Skaggs technique of stamping with the inks. And then I have another one I did that way, which is this fabulous, I love it so much, Taco Tuesday plate.
Oh, that is so great.
Up on that, but isn't that fun?
That's so fun.
So I used, I believe, Plum Island transfer for the polka dots, and then I stamped on top of it with the Amaco inks, and then colored in afterwards and clear glazed it, and I just love it. We're big fans of Taco Tuesday in our household. Sometimes it's Taco Tuesday. It's always Taco Tuesday, but sometimes it's Taco Thursday and Taco Friday. And
yes, any night could be taco night
in my house. So I'm going to make individual plates to match, but I wanted to do the big platter first. And all of those Fiesta stamps are from I believe the April mystery box. And they're all available for individual purchase now. There's the tacos and the flowers and the poncho and the mustache and sombrero and maracas. There's all kinds of new stamps for that. And then the current mystery box, which actually the half price expired Monday, but I was kind of thinking I might extend that for you guys. So I didn't get a chance to do it today, but when I get off here, I'll go ahead and extend that 50%. And I'll extend it through, let's go through Friday.
Okay.
So this is one of the items in there, and it's a stamping cutter in one. And then there's some faces. I won't show everything because I want it to still be a surprise. But these were made, this little cute guy here, and I did him in gold, which I love. And then
what
this
place
one,
was that?
So you know what? I saw someone posted it. And it was like through Amazon, and it was like something I'd never heard of. And I thought, I'm going to try it. And it's a cone 6, 5 through 10 or whatever is what it said. And I thought, oh, it can't be that good. I tried it and I love it. I will find that out after the broadcast.
Okay.
My name sounds like Palmer. It was something I'd never heard of. I ordered it on a whim,
you never know on Amazon what you're finding.
And it's been great.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, I've done 2 or 3 tests with it, and then this is the first piece I've done with it. And then this one I did, the traditional painting, and it's got the trick or treat stamp, which is also in the new mystery box. So, and then I'll go ahead and show you the roller for it as well. I haven't glazed this one yet, but how cute is that roller design?
I love it. Yeah, you did a pumpkin one a couple years ago that I love, but it doesn't have any faces like that one does, and candy.
Candy. So something a little different. So we will end show and tell and start working. Move a few things out of the way.
So if you folks have questions for Debbie, reach out to her, DaylightDesignGifts.com, and you can also message her through her social media if you have questions. And folks are saying that gold is Palsner, P-A-L-S, Palsner or Palzer gold?
It was something with the P-A. I knew that. I couldn't remember.
Palzer gold.
But that's it.
Yes, so we'll have to check that out. People say it's great. It smells metallic-y, but it's... Yeah.
I was super impressed. So this is the first one I made, kind of just testing. I'm really surprised it held together because I was using leftover clay that was kind of questionable and dried out. But it stayed. It didn't crack. So on this one, I did 3 petals on the interior. And then I did 4. And then I did 5. 2. No, maybe I just did 4 again. So I was kind of experimenting with it. This one, I just did 3, 3, and 3. So it went a little quicker, and I wasn't trying to figure out how to space it, I think it looks as good. It's not quite as full, but I think it works good. And the spacing is nice and pretty. So
I like the spacing on that one there.
I think so too. Yeah. And less to cut out, less clay. So, but you could definitely do different sizes and do different, different amounts of petals there. So this is the cutter. So this is really simple. We've got a 3.5-inch circle cutter that I use for the base. And then this one is the 4-inch. And I have this available in, I think, 2, 3, 4, 5-inch. I think 4 sizes. This is the only one I've printed so far for me. I do have other petal cutters. This is the rounded petal. I have this kind of sunflower petal here. And this is one of Maria's petals. So I have these. I think you could kind of do something similar with it. But this is a wider one. And it's got that flat bottom. So let's grab our clay and get started. I've probably got 1/4-inch clay here rolled out.
And just a reminder, folks, that May mystery box is not discounted right now, but
yeah,
it will
wait till tonight.
Wait till later.
That. There's a roller in there. There's got cutters in there.
Yeah.
I think there's 13 stamps, maybe.
And so that discount will go till Friday. So it'll start tonight after the broadcast. And
I was going to try and do that this afternoon, and I kind of got, I listed those numbers this afternoon. So I definitely had a lot going on. So we just need one of the circles. And then if we do 3, 3, and 3, we'll need 9 of these. I think this might be a good project too. I'm always looking for things to do with my scrap clay. And especially if you are, you have a damp box going, you could cut out petals and put them in your damp box and with any of your scraps you have. And then when you have a bunch made up, you could go ahead and make them then. You just would want to make sure they don't get too dry because we are kind of bending them and folding them a little bit.
And with a damp box, you could cut them out like today, and then 3 days later, you got some more scrap clay, cut it out, put it in there. You just keep your damp, make sure your damp box actually stays damp.
If it stays damp,
Yeah, and I mean, then the next day you have that you can actually work on stuff. You
Right.
can make some of these.
Well, the bowl cutter, especially the largest one, I'll show you real quick. It's huge.
Oh,
This is
yes,
the
it is.
largest bowl.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you have a lot of scrap clay when you're making those, you know? And then you're trying to figure out what to do with all the oddball pieces.
And the May box, for those who are interested, is Halloween, right?
Halloween. And that April box is Fiesta. So the whole box is there is 15% off, or you can order them individually and just pick out and choose the pieces you want. Okay, so actually found this was kind of nice to use, so I had a little bit of a lip, but you could use anything to build on. This is one of the spacers from Jarrett Pottery Forms. So I've got my circle here, and I am going to use my maker's mark on it real quick before I start assembling. So turn that over and figure out what I've done with everything. So I've got my serrated rib, and I'm going to go ahead and go around the outside of this, just like making a cup to start with. And then on these, I don't really need to clean up my edges necessarily, but I do want to kind of thin them out a little bit. So I'm going to use a damp sponge. And I'm just going to kind of go around the top edge. And I'm putting a little bit of pressure on that because I want to kind of thin it a little bit. And I'm okay if it kind of loses the shape a little bit and becomes a little more organic. And then I'm not cleaning up edges. So that was pretty quick, just kind of going through and using some pressure. We'll do the first three. So our first one, the first three that go on are actually going to be on top of the clay here. So we want to serrate the edge on these at the actual bottom edge on the first three. And I think we could make different sizes with this. You just kind of depend and figure out how many you need or what size you need of these. And I'm kind of folding it a little bit taco shaped, but then I want to kind of fold this out the opposite way. So I do want my clay to be soft enough that I can do that. So let me grab my slip. And there's my first piece on. So I'm going to continue doing that with the other two. So there is the start. And as you can see, this goes pretty quick.
And you can make this a vase. If you
Yeah,
just, only
absolutely.
want to do a couple, you could
Yeah.
definitely do, maybe 2 layers and just have a vase,
Yeah, I think
planter.
oh, I'm serrating the wrong part already on this one now. Let me clean up the edges on my next 3. And now on these, I'm going to serrate, slip and score, maybe about a third to halfway up on the petal. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pull from the very bottom here and pull up. And that will help attach that too by running that circle base up into the petal a little bit.
And Debbie, you said the petal cutter you're using here is at the 3-inch?
This is the 4-inch.
Oh, the 4-inch. Okay. Just
Yeah.
to be clear, so folks that are tuning in.
So I've scored up part way. I'm going to go ahead and start scoring up now. Maybe again about a third to halfway up.
So would you say the most difficult part of this is getting those first 3 on and
Probably
holding themselves up?
Yeah, they hold up pretty well because they're bent one way and then the other way, so it kind of gives them a little bit of stability. And the thing is, like here, I can kind of pinch a little bit to get these two together, kind of to help hold its shape too. There's a lot of like kind of manipulating once you start putting them on. I'm putting a lot of pressure on once I put the next ones on. So I'm going now halfway on this, and I am going to the outside. And I'm just using quite a bit of pressure to push those together. It's not going to be a perfect circle on the inside anyway, so you don't really have to worry about it getting, a little bit messed up when you're when you're really pushing that on there. And if you want to manipulate your petals a little bit as you're going, you can. But as you can see, this is, simple project, and you don't need very many tools at all for this. You could cut out your, you can find your own petal shape and make them yourself and just cut them out, cut a piece of paper or craft foam out and make your own. So now I've gone with this next one halfway between the two again. And then I'm just really pushing in really good and squeezing that clay together. So there's number two, the 5th one on there, I guess. The last one on this row. Again, we're kind of finding that halfway point. And now we've got that row done. I think if you were doing 2 rows, you could maybe do just 4 or 5 in the second row and overlap a little bit. I think would maybe be a good finishing place. With the just the 3 looks a little bare. Okay. Any other questions while I'm smoothing clay?
Yeah, so there was a question, are there any issues with cracking with all these layers?
Well, I didn't know. And I was worried about that. I these ones I made last night, like I said, one of them I used pretty old clay that has been re-rolled, a million times and re-wedged, and I really didn't expect it to hold together, but it did. I've also been running an air conditioner in here, and they're almost completely dry and they haven't cracked. So I don't think that there should be any problems. When you're kind of squishing these layers together, your clay is kind of flattening a little bit and going, to the sides. So it's really not that thick, with 1/4 inch clay, and you've got maybe about 2.5 layers of that, probably at the most. So fingers crossed. I've built similar. I haven't built this actual one before, but I've built similar ones to this, and garden flowers, for similar to like what Maria Sampson does, and those I've had no problem with. So
I've done garden flowers that have 4 layers thick without
oh
any
sure,
problems.
yeah,
So, I
yeah,
mean, you
I've
just let
done
it dry
much different.
slow, evenly, and you
Yeah.
should be fine.
When I did the sunflower petal that I have, I made a sunflower with lots and lots of layers, and it was a flat one. And it just, oh my gosh, it's like it's a paperweight. It's so heavy. So I'm going to come back around here again now, and I am going to score my bottom again. And your petals aren't going to quite come around and touch because you're getting a little bit wider. So if you want to not score the very center area of each one, you don't have to. It doesn't matter because you can smooth it out afterwards. So you want to just kind of score around the whole thing. And when you're scoring that, you can kind of score that edge where, I don't know if you can see it on camera very well, but like this edge here, let me show you. Like there, when you score it up, you're kind of getting all of that together again, and getting it to really seal really well. So once again, same thing. So let's see, right here now. Okay. And I cut a few extra out earlier. Oh, here we go. You could also start with a smaller circle on this and make it a little bit fuller, I think. So that's pretty much it. Now on the inside, I didn't do coils. There's so much there, I feel like kind of holding it together. I did come in and where there's some little, where the ones meet, there's a little bit of an opening there in each spot. I mean, it's got one behind it, but I went ahead and just kind of took a little bit of the clumpy stuff out of my slip and kind of pushed that in there. And just kind of clean up this area a little bit. Get that wet. It's funny not being able to read comments.
No, and everybody's
What's everyone talking about out there?
Oh, they want to know about your storage drawers in the background.
Oh, those are fun.
Talking about how they have so many of your cutters and how do you store them. Um, Folks want to see more taco plate and stuff.
Oh, isn't that taco plate great?
Yeah.
I love it so much. So then I've got a little bit of cleanup on the outside. And again, I just, scored all the way around. So I've got some area to clean up here. But mainly, I think the important thing is really making sure you've got that pressure applied. And that'll kind of help hold them up too.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to, you could roll like 3 little balls for feet and put a hole and make it a great planter.
I thought even you could put it on a pedestal, like an upside down vase.
Yes.
And put it on there and or like do you have a cupcake class maybe that's on a
the cupcake
pedestal?
Yeah.
I think it'd be really pretty on a pedestal.
The cake stand class.
The cake stand,
so made a cupcake stand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be really pretty on a pedestal.
I think so too. Yeah, there's a lot of options. This is like, with everything in pottery, a jumping off point.
Right. I think it'd just be so pretty on, on the dining room table, maybe 3 of them down the center with either candles or, whatever. And I think even emptying it might be okay.
So just to clarify, folks were asking about the inner petals are directly on top of the base.
Directly on, just like if you were making a cup it's setting on top of that, on top of that circle. So basically on top. And then the other ones are coming around and cupping around and going around the outer. You might be able to see, you can kind of see on this because I haven't had time to clean up the bottoms yet, but you can kind of see how these are on the outer of that circle. So the other is on the inner of the circle. So that first one is like making a cup where it's sitting on top. and then you're going on the outer. And I would imagine you could bring them all in smaller and build out and not have, a big opening in it if you were just wanting something decorative.
Mm-hmm. Folks were asking what your plan is for glazing. Are you going to dip and pour, brush on?
I don't have very many dip and pours. I have some of Jessica's, so I may try that. I may try your celadons, maybe. I'm not sure. That's a good question, though. All my others, I think I have clear and dipping and your celadons, and other than that, I just use the commercial brush-on glazes. So it'll probably be a pain to brush on, but it won't be too bad.
I don't think it'd be that bad. No, I think it'll just take a little bit of time.
Yeah,
but I
just
would
slop
probably
it in there. If you're doing one, I'll do this one color, most likely. It would be pretty. I mean, Paula would probably, do magic with it. But I would probably do one color.
And if somebody wanted to put texture on it, they absolutely could.
Absolutely.
Just one of your rollers or stamps, you could add some texture, or lace. If somebody had some lace they wanted to roll in, and just put that on the petal after you, you could just put it on the clay and then cut your petals out, or
right.
Then build.
Let me, I'll experiment a little bit with, if you didn't want it to be a bowl and you had this smaller circle, I think you could bring them all in and have them on. I think you'd need maybe the smaller petal, but you might be able to do something like that.
Yeah, you can make different flowers, different shapes.
And then build out around, and then you're on it. I didn't clean these up or anything, but I think you could do something like that. I didn't even think about it, really.
I mean, that's basically how I sculpt little flowers. I make mini petals.
Yeah.
And then I start with one, and then I just add them together and keep going. So it's the same idea.
So if
you want to do garden sculpture, I think these would be amazing, or to go in the centerpiece of a fountain.
Right. Oh, that
or
would
a garden
be really nice.
stack, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I may have to actually do this, because that could be, and just keep going around.
You just keep squishing them on, and
just keep squishing them on. So I think that's a great idea. And then,
garden flowers.
You're on the base instead of to the outside of it, basically.
Yeah.
But that works nice. So another fun idea with it.
So many possibilities.
How are we on time? Well, we've got time.
We've got time. You do what you want to do.
Should we do something else?
I mean, you can do anything you want. You're here with us. I mean, I'll give you free reign.
Oh, I got some clay pot.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think what I should do. I knew that would be fast, but I didn't think it'd be that fast.
And, so folks like that shape for the garden. Yes.
Yeah,
good. So make
like
those.
That.
Suggestions for glaze. Mako's amaryllis. Yes.
Oh, that's such a pretty one, isn't it?
I do love that.
Could be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we could.
What do you want to do? You do whatever you want. You don't even have to stick with the candle holder flower.
Let's just play with some stamps then.
Yeah, let's do that, folks.
Let me grab some clay.
Loving Taco Tuesdays or Halloween stuff.
Let's grab this piece that my cat walked all over, so it's all covered in finger or paw prints.
It already is textured.
It already has it, that's for sure. See if we can get enough smoothed out that we can make a taco plate.
Glaze suggestions. Some folks were saying Spectrum's Bougainvillea, which Bougainvillea is
that's another of my favorites.
Yes, that's a beautiful one. I also like their Sunrise that just came out.
Yeah, all of their new ones. I made the little flowers. I should probably grab one. Using what was smaller than this one. This is the Maria flower, and I have it small, and I use it just, again, scrap clay. I cut those out, and I use those as test tiles, and I did a bunch of them with the new spectrums, the floating glazes, the Berganelia and fuzzy peach, and so let me grab a cutter.
I mean, we got a giveaway, but we got 10 minutes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you got 10 minutes to have fun, and then we'll give away. Did I mention we're doing a giveaway?
That's exciting, isn't it?
It's always exciting to have a giveaway.
So I grabbed this flute 7 is what I call it, and I grabbed a GR pottery form. By the way, if you see that, that means it was a second. So when you see a second sale, grab stuff. They're great. There's usually, you can't tell. This one you can tell a little bit. It's got a little bit of a squished in area there. But I have some that have things circled on them that were a second, and I can't tell what's wrong with it. So they're usually pretty great. So typically when I stamp first and then cut. But I'll go ahead and kind of mark. I may need to scoot over a little bit. Oh, my clay does not want to scoot. I'll kind of mark my clay where that base is going to be. And then let me grab the Fiesta stamps. And these are in one of these drawers. I do all of my mystery boxes. Each one goes in one of these drawers. Then they're the stacking set of 3. And of course, I have way too many because, well, I have all of them.
Well, you have to have them all. They are yours. I use the same storage drawers. I believe I get mine from Walmart, sometimes
I think
Amazon.
most of mine are Walmart. Every now and then Hobby Lobby or something might have them cheaper. So we've got the Taco Tuesday, which was not in the box. Everything else was. This Fiesta was in the box. And this was kind of an add-on. So I have a small plate here. So maybe I'll just do taco stuff and not do the Taco Tuesday. So I'm going to do the avocado. And
somebody
when I
wants the Taco Tuesday stamp, that's a separate stamp from
that's separate from the box.
From the box. So if you want that, you can just get that, or you get the box and then get that stamp and have the Fiesta stamps.
And all these are individual now. Here's the cute little margarita. So let's do that one.
And while you're doing that, I'm just going to remind everybody, because I mentioned giveaway, and now everybody's like, giveaway. To enter the giveaway, you just go to ClayShare.com and sign up for our emails. And you sign up once and you're entered always in all of our giveaways. But if you're a premium member of ClayShare, you're automagically entered. You don't have to watch to win. We will email the winner. And you don't have to purchase anything. Sometimes the giveaways are worldwide. Sometimes they're just in the United States. That's set by the giveaway sponsor. Debbie, your giveaway is international.
It is international.
Anybody could win.
Now, if you're an international customer, we temporarily, and you'll still be able to win tonight, and just reach out to us if you're international and you win. But any international customers, reach out to us, because right now we shut it down because we're having a lot of issues with the tariffs and people getting, and they've paid their shipping, and then their order gets to their country, and all of a sudden they're being told you have to pay $200 in fees and customs to pick it up. And they're like, what happened? Like, and I don't know anything about it. We're not told this is what it is. So I am working on it. So we kind of shut it off temporarily and then letting people contact us and then setting up from there. So we are still doing some of it right now, but you need to contact us in order to buy right now. And I'm trying to get a UPS rep to work with us, but they've been very difficult to work with right now.
So we use UPS for our international and our
Okay.
Stateside shipping. And if you get a good person, they can be great.
Okay. Yeah, I just need
So just
to
keep
really
going till you get a
pursue
good,
it.
yeah, keep going till you get somebody who's a good rep for you. So how do you become a premium member of ClayShare, Teresa? You go to clayshare.com and you can sign up to be a member. You can join and you get access. We have thousands of videos, hundreds of full-length pottery classes, new ones every week. You will never get bored. If you like making pottery, we have tons of ideas for you. And then we have, like tonight, we have guests come on like Debbie and showcasing her products that she makes and how to use them. Now, Debbie, here's a really good question. Folks struggle with how hard to press into the clay when they're stamping. Sometimes they go too hard, sometimes they go too light. What are your tips on that?
So you can always go deeper. You can't go lighter. And if you go too deep, you're going to have clay just all gunked up inside there. So I always go to the side of my piece and I test a little bit and make sure I'm in frame right now. But I'm just giving it a little bit of a rock back and forth. And I am not going deep at all because if you go too light, so there I went too light, you can always find that spot and you kind of line it up and give it a wiggle and it will lock into place and you can restamp. So you're
it's always
don't go too deep, because if you go too deep, then you got to clean out a stamp and they're not fun to clean out. And I tell people, if you're teaching, then you need to tell people like over and over, this is a stamp and not a cutter. Like I say it over and over and over when I'm teaching. This is a stamp and not a cutter. You're not cutting the clay. You are just making a nice imprint in the clay. So let me do a big one and you'll be able to see. Because the bigger ones, you kind of have to move it around a little bit more. And you do need a little bit more pressure, but I'm still only just making a little bit of an imprint. And see how I'm too light down here? I can put that back on there. And again, I find it and then I wiggle. And then you'll make sure you're in that exact spot. And then you restamp the area that needs it. But the main thing is, because your clay is always going to be different. It's always going to be softer or harder, or, you know, the temperature is off or it's sticky or whatever. So anytime you're stamping, stamp to the side, and then you know how much pressure you need. And then you know if you need cornstarch. So I rarely use cornstarch. I don't know if it's just the clay I use, but I don't typically need it. If you do, just dust some on, and then you can kind of shake some of it off, and then stamp. So if your clay is sticky, you might need that. My clay doesn't tend to be sticky. Soft clay, typically you don't need cornstarch. You might, so test to the side.
Yeah, always test. I have a habit of pressing way too hard. At least every time I get a new sheet of clay rolled out and I go to use them, I have to control myself. I have to hold back because I press too hard. But they are easier to press in than you think. And I do love that you can line it back up and easily do it again.
Yeah.
When you need to.
So you're better to go too soft than too deep.
Now, how do you clean out your stamps?
Well,
if you press too hard.
Because they can be a pain when it gets really deep in there. They can be kind of hard to clean. A toothpick, a needle tool, you know, there's really not much more you can do but try and pick it out. You can kind of soak them a little bit. Like when I use these with these, I use these with the inks. So they were covered in ink. I just throw them in my bucket of water to the side. I throw them in there, and at the end of the day when I'm done, you know, I usually can just kind of wipe it off then, and it's usually going to come off. There might be a little bit of remnant in there. But they're fine to soak. I wouldn't leave them in water for long periods of time, but I've left them overnight before. I typically, if one gets messy, I throw it, or if I'm using the inks, I throw it in the bucket while I'm working. And then kind of at the end of the day when I'm cleaning up, then I go ahead and grab them out along with my, my sponges and all my other tools and just kind of, wipe them off. But for the most part, I don't clean them. You can see that, you can see the kind of the clay dust on them. If it gets too much, obviously I don't want clay dust in my studio, but when they get bad, then I do just dunk them in the water. So how cute is that plate?
It's so cute. I love it. That's right up my alley right now. We are finally getting warm enough weather where it's not snowing.
Oh my gosh.
As soon as we don't have snow, it's like, that's it. It's margarita time. We did have a question. Someone asked, how about using your stamps that come with the matching cutters?
Oh, like the one-piece ones, like this guy here? Is that what
the ones that you will have
cut around it?
Yes, cut them out so you can make like an applique stamp.
Yeah. Well, I know
I love
demoed that a lot.
I have.
But
and if you don't have anything
really any different than, I don't think I have one handy that actually, oh no, maybe I do.
But the depth of the cutters, this is a really good explanation. The stamp is not as deep as the cutter. Right. So there they are. So I stamp first. And that way I know I've got a good stamp. And then also if my clay is squishing, then I know where I'm at on, it's not going to distort it afterwards. So I've made my stamp. So there he is. And then I just line up around. And all of my cutters have a little bit of a border. I know some people maybe don't like that, but that's the way I do them. But it's pretty easy to look straight down on it and just cut out. It's just as simple as that. And I love the gnomes. Oh my gosh.
Ornament.
I love them so much.
Could be stuck on the side of, the side of your mug.
I stick them on mugs all the time. Those gnomes live on everything I can put them on.
So yeah, if you're really, Jessica does this a lot in her demos. She's got ones with this guy on a mug. I do the harvest ones a lot with tankards. Yeah. I'd love to put your stamp, use them with tankards because the tankards are big enough to really show them. Yeah. And you could make tankards fall themed or you can make them spring. I mean, just because a tankard doesn't have to be only for fall. Oh, absolutely not. It's all year long. So I think they could work on iced tea glasses too. So yeah. Oh, and that reminds me, I have one other new product. Oh yes, let's see it. A giant vase. And here's the cutter for that. Another giant. Whoa. Yeah, or a giant cup. If someone's the really funny thing about this is like my cup, my tall cup, only way bigger. And one of my employees was at a Renaissance festival, and the lady was making these as a tankard, this huge. Yes. And she was using my cutter and then just making it longer. And she'd ask, could I make one? So I made it for her and was like, that's the craziest big tankard cup I've ever seen in my life. But it's a nice vase. So and it could be a big cup. Some people want big cups. If you need a huge cup, I mean, big gulp exists for a reason. I mean, I use a big cup, but no joke, it's as big. So yeah, I need a lid for this because I would spill it, or my cats would spill it. The cats are what would really spill it. The cats would spill it, but that's also another new item. So. All right, so we got like 15 seconds, and then sadly we have to go. We'll have to have Debbie come back soon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You can find Debbie on social media, Debbie Dela Cruz. That's under her name, but her website is deladesigngifts.com. Thank you, Debbie, for a wonderful evening and so many great ideas. Thank you. Thanks. All right. So that was wonderful with Debbie. This will be available as a replay, and you can watch it over and over, and you can stop
and look at all the things. I know you got questions about, people are asking, can you show something again? Well, we ran out of time, but go back and watch the replay and then you can pause it. And if you have any questions specifically, reach out to Debbie. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer. Now, as you know, Debbie mentioned, in addition to her fabulous cutters, she and I have collabed on the new paint palette cutters. And I'll be showing you how to make these next in the primetime class. Now, this is the big traditional palette. And here's the big vintage frame. This is the square. They are ultimately cute and so easy to make, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, but you can get these cutters from Debbie. Now, if you're a premium member, I know you're not in the US, and we'll talk about this in the class in a few minutes, but I do have templates you can download for these shapes because I want everybody to be able to make these. But I will tell you, these make it so much easier, especially if you want to make multiples quickly. The cutters are the way to go. So a huge thank you to Debbie for tonight's demo and also for being the sponsor and for this giveaway that we're going to do. So we have a gift certificate for $50. If you are outside of the US for international winners, it's a $70 gift certificate. That's to offset the cost of shipping. You could get these new palette cutters. You could get one of the past boxes that Debbie has. If you like those Fiesta stamps or the Halloween stamps, check them out. She also has some ultimately cute bread stamps, like the little toast plates I like to make. Those are some of my favorites. This lucky person is going to get to go shopping with Debbie. Now, it is ClayShare May at DayLawDesignGifts.com, so you can save. There's an automatic 15% off that she has right now. And remember, if you want to get that box that she listed, the Fiesta one, it will be on discount after the broadcast's over. She's going to set that up, and that'll be good through Friday. So, all right, tonight's winner of that gift certificate is Annette Collins. Congratulations, Annette. You get to go shopping, get yourself some amazing stamps and cutters and rollers and lots of fabulous things over at DayLawDesignGifts.com. All right, so that's what we have for this week's Live at 5. If you have not joined ClayShare yet, what are you waiting for? You've already missed out on 9 years. 9 years. We're going in June 15th, we're starting our 9th full year. Can you believe it? Of ClayShare. I have been doing classes weekly for you all for almost a decade, and there is a lot there. And if you haven't joined, go, because you've got all those years to catch up on. We have the ClayShare challenges, we have ClayShare Con, we have all the full-length classes in hand building, wheel throwing, we've got some slip casting, extruding, glazing, surface decoration, you name it. We got it. Next, we're going to do a hand building paint palettes class, and I'm going to teach you how to sculpt this little otter. Look at this sweet little thing. You don't have to put them on paint palettes if you don't want to. You absolutely can just sculpt little otters till your heart's content just for the joy of it, because look how cute that little guy is. So we're going to be doing this next. This is a class only for premium members, so if you're not yet, go join. We have a free trial. You can learn this class in the free trial and then stay or don't stay. 92% of people who join ClayShare stay. I know. There's a lot of people here. We got thousands of people on ClayShare, and they cannot wait for you to come and join them with our own community on ClayShare.com. That's only for members, so check that out. All right, everybody, thank you for being here tonight. Again, a huge thank you to Debbie for joining us this week. Next week, well, guess what? We're not going to be here for Live at 5 next week because it's my youngest daughter's birthday, and, you know, I love all of you so very, very much, but I do love my daughter a bit more. I'm going to take the day and spend it with her, and it's going to be really wonderful. So we'll be back the following week with Easy Screen joining us, but premium members, don't despair. I'll see you in just a few minutes. Everyone else, thank you for being here tonight. See you later. Bye, everybody.